Growing up without a father, the psychological effects. Now, this is a very deep subject in that. Especially a lot of men are suffering with this right now, not growing up without a father, the psychological effects, the effects on relationships, how they see women. So we're going to cover all of these things in that. Shout out to the follower who actually commented this comment and wanted me to speak about this video and that, because I feel like this topic hasn't been spoken about enough. Now, before we get started though, you already know what to do. Smash that like button, hit that red subscribe button and comment down below, man. Let's talk about it, man. The psychological effects of growing up without a father. Now, we all know, like, this day and age and that, it's less common for a person to have both parents around, mother and father, you know? Like, especially now in 2022, a lot of single moms, sometimes single dads and that. So there's an imbalance straight away. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Because, like, the female obviously brings the feminine energy and the man brings the masculine energy. Do you get what I'm saying to you? So when one or the other is not there, then it brings the imbalance. Then the other person, the single mom, for example, has to try and cover both sides, which they cannot do, you know, because one side will always be more dominant. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Which leaves the child, you know, in a place where it's like imbalanced because, like, you know, everyone has to play their role in that. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Now, before we get started, shout out to everyone who's a single mom or single dad in that, man. I'm just going to break down some of the things that I've observed in that from people who have grown up without their father. So the first thing is imbalance. Female nature is caring, loving, compassion, you know, support. Whereas masculine is more like tough and, you know, like hardness and, you know, go get in and, you know, like this. Everyone has their own traits in that. You get what I'm saying to you? Like, a father's going to teach his son how to, you know, be a man and how to grow up, how to be self-sufficient and, you know, be a leader. Whereas the mom can only teach the son how to, you know, be loving, caring, etc. So when one is I'm not saying like the mom can teach both sides in that, but like as a child, you look up to if you're a boy, you can look up to your father. He's the first person, like your first idol, the first person you actually admire and want to emulate because like that's you, isn't it? You know, that's an older version of you. You get what I'm saying to you? So this right there, when there is an imbalance and one person is gone, there is it can get to a point where there's a resentment from the child and that. You know, like that child growing up without their dad is going to resent them. Like, yo, this guy's not around and that, you know, my mom has to do both sides. And, you know, it gets to a stage where it looks like his dad, like, nah, this guy's a loser. He's an idiot and that. I hate this guy and that. You know, you resent him because it's like, yo, like, you're not there for me, you know. And then it can also get to the stage where they resent their mom for, like, they could blame their mom for not having the father around. You get what I'm saying to you? You know, so there's different ways you can go. There's not like, oh, okay, when you grow up without a father, you're going to be like this, and that, or if you grow up without a mother, you're going to be like this, you know, because you have to remember, like, everyone views it different. But one thing I know is that there's always going to be a dependency. You know, there's always going to be a dependency because, like, it's only one person looking after. You're going to be heavily dependent on one person. Let's say your mom, you're only dependent on her because there's nobody else there. Obviously, you might have siblings, uncles, aunties, but she is like your idol, like your everything, because it's like she had you from the start and that, you know, so you're heavily dependent on her. Now that could lead you not to grow up, you know, in a faster rate and that. Because it's like, oh, okay, yeah, my mom's got me. Oh, yeah, my mom's going to do the cooking. She's going to clean. She's everything. Do you get what I'm saying to you? So it can leave you, like, it can slow your progress down in your own manlyhood. And or it can speed it up because a lot of people are like, okay, boom, I have no father figure. Now I'm going to step up. I'm going to be the man of the house and I'm going to do it. Do you get what I'm saying to you? So it's both sides of the story and that. It's not like one or the other. Do you get what I'm saying to you? But you can see the traits in that. You can see like someone who hasn't grew up with a father, how their traits are. Maybe they become more masculine, over masculine, in fact, in order to compensate what they lacked in that. Or they can be less masculine and be more conservative in that because of the traits that they got from their mother and that, you know. So most people who grow up with a father, they end up having father figures. So like maybe an older, someone who's like maybe a couple years older than them, 5, 6 years older than them, and they're guiding them and that. Maybe their uncle or someone who is older age and that, who seems to be more masculine. They gravitate towards them people. That's why I see a lot of places where it's called the hood and that. A lot of kids that grow up without a father, then they leech onto the oldest in the hood and that, in the area, like, okay, I want to be like him and that, you know, he's my father figure and that. They won't say it openly, but, you know, subconsciously they're doing it. They're giving this guy authority over them because it's like, okay, I never had that. So when you see someone who's masculine, let me just gravitate towards him. Maybe he can guide me and that. Do you get what I'm saying to you? So like, there can be a dependency on a father figure when you grow up without a dad and that. Do you get what I'm saying to you? So it's like, And a lot of times it can go in a bad way. You can get manipulated by someone else because it's like you thinking they're there to help you, but they're just looking at you as, okay, this is someone I can manipulate because, you know what I'm saying, he looks up to me. So that's something you have to be very careful about. A lot of people fall into that trap, and that even people who grow up with both parents still fall into that trap of depending on someone's older and that to guide them and that. You get what I'm saying to you? So it can get to the point where, like I said, where the child or the person becomes over masculine. Like, you know what? I didn't have the masculine figure. I'm gonna, like, they want to step up and they want to overdo it. They want to be the one. You know what I'm saying to you? They want to speed up their process, speed up their growing up stage in that. You know, like maybe age 13, 14, you want to be the man of the house and that. Like, yo, I'm the man. Then I'm taking over in that because no one's here to guide me. You know, because like I said, your mom can only do so much for you. You know, she cannot be your father and that. She can only give you guidance and that on how to be, but she cannot be your father figure. Do you get what I'm saying to you? So you have to remember, yeah, like a lot of people have a void inside of them, like an emptiness. Like some people don't even know where it comes from, but it comes from not having both parents around. Let's be honest. And if you have both parents around, it's the better situation. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Because you get a balance of both sides in that. So the void is going to be there, but at the same time, it's like, you cannot live in that void. You have to forgive and move forward in that. Do you feel what I'm saying to you? And I feel like it affects people's relationships and that when they have partners, because it's like, okay, you might have a partner, but you might like be more submissive and that you be more feminine towards your partner, or you could be over masculine because it's like, you know, there's an imbalance. You don't know, because remember, like, the only person that can teach you how to be a father is a man, you know? A female cannot teach you how to be a father. They can guide you and show you things in that, but like a man has already experienced everything that you're going to experience in that. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Someone who's older than you has already experienced what you went through. They can guide you in that. The female can only give you a female perspective. A man can give you the man's perspective. And if you're a man, then you need a male perspective. You cannot just go off a female perspective and that, because it might be the polar opposite of the man's experience. Do you feel what I'm saying to you? So when people like that get into a relationship, they might, you know, overdo it. They want to control the relationship, you know, or when they have a child and that, they want to, most of the time they want to be there for the child because they know what it felt like not to have a child, you know. So there's so many different psychological effects that happen in that when someone doesn't grow up without a father and that. Now, again, the main thing, you don't want to blame anyone. You don't want to point the finger to your father, point the finger to your mom. You have to look at yourself and, okay, how can I take this situation and make the best out of it? Do you get what I'm saying to you? But you need to understand where you're at and that. Like, you know, some people feel emotions that they don't know where it comes from. But, you know, a lot of these psychological effects come from childhood and that. You know, childhood has a big impact on where you are right now, how the way you think and that. How it is the way you think right now. Do you feel what I'm saying to you? So if you're someone who grew up without a father and that, don't resent him, don't resent your mom, don't blame anyone. Just look at yourself. You can create yourself from scratch. Like, okay, cool, I'm like this because I grew up like that, but I'm going to take myself here and that. You know, regardless of how you grew up and that, yeah, it's not a life sentence. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Like, you decide how you want to think, how you want to behave in that. You know, you might have a disadvantage by growing up like this, but still, it's your choice in that. You know, you can decide today to be a better person. You get what I'm saying to you? And the one thing you should never do is resent anyone or, you know, have a void or envy or anything in that, because it's like, it's not going to be any beneficial. It's not going to be beneficial to your life, bro. Do you feel what I'm saying to you? Like, take that energy and, like I always say, transmutate that into something positive. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Like, you know, a lot of people are suffering, and with the moment you give blame to someone or a thing and that, then you lose self-control, bro. Self-control first comes from understanding that you are in control over your life and that. Where you are is because of you, even if it doesn't seem like it. The second you take accountability, then boom, the strength is there, you know? So I feel like especially with, like, let's say black people or people from ethnic minorities, as they call them and that, they suffer these adversities, like not having a father, or most of the time father, sometimes mother. That's it, you know? Like, look at someone, if you're gonna pick a role model, pick someone who you want to emulate. You know, someone who has achieved what you want to achieve, someone who's competent in all areas and that. Work on yourself and that. Work on yourself. Don't let your childhood be a life sentence, bro. You work on yourself, pick the areas that you want to improve in, go ahead every single day, put energy towards it, and you'll gradually move up in that. Do you get what I'm saying to you? So I just want to make this video on that, like, just to bring the awareness of, like, the psychological effects of not growing up with a father, and how it's not a life sentence, how you can still dictate where you're going and improve yourself and that. And that's it, man. Hopefully this video brought value to at least one person. If it did, make sure to smash the like button, make sure to hit the red subscribe button and comment down below, man. Come on.